then we got John Ratzenberger. Wow, this is great. Take a seat, sir. Boy, are you well dressed.
Oh, well, yeah, because I was at Woodstock. It's my fault that you guys are dressed like you are.
Is that it?
So I'm trying to undo my damage.
Undo the damage, huh?
Yeah.
No, you look very spiffy, very nice today.
Man, thank you. I was at Woodstock, and I was actually there.
You were at Woodstock.
And I remember one of the local farmers saying, I've never seen so many out-of-work farm hands in my life. Because everybody had jeans, T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, dressed like farmers. Yeah. That was a whole movement thing back then going on.
Oh, it's still here.
And well, now there's the Wall Street thing going on here in New York is the big movement that really isn't doing much.
Yeah, but Hendrix not going to play there.
No, you're not going to see the Star Spangled Banner played by Jimi Hendrix there.
Were you partaking back then when you were in at Woodstock?
No, you know what? I mean, I had long hair, a beard. I was a carpenter. I was a journeyman carpenter. Head through New England, and that's how I found out about the job. I happened to be in the area working on a house. But no, that always just got in my way. It just, to me, it was more annoying.
Right.
The mood-altering, brain-altering stuff.
Yeah.
Just, we operate heavy machinery. That's the last thing.
Wow. That's kind of true, yeah.
You don't want to saw and mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I always looked at it as a very hip way of being lazy. Not having to do anything with your life.
That's true. I will say it would make you lazy. I think that's what screwed my high school career up. I was doing really good in school up until I started smoking pot, and then it just went right out the window. I haven't smoked in many, many years, by the way.
I have a question for you about the Cheers audition, too. Did you, because this was very ballsy, did you go on the audition and not have a good read, and then actually just decide, like, come back and go, look, could I do that again, but as a character?
No, it was even more desperate than that. See, I prior to that, I was living and working in Europe, in England, for 10 years, and I was doing really well.
As an actor?
An actor, yeah. And so I came to Los Angeles. It was a writing job I got hired to do, to write a show based on the life of the Emperor Nero for CBS. And then somebody said, hey, this Cheers thing, blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, okay, I'll go in. But up until that point, I had never auditioned in my life, because I didn't go to acting school. It was on-the-job training for me. So I didn't know what auditions were even about. So they handed me the paper. I thought, this is nice. This is what I'm supposed to chat about. So I walk in, and I'm looking around the office for a chair. And the guy says, Jimmy Burrows, as a matter of fact, said, what are you looking for? I said, well, my chair. I thought, I'm going to sit down. He says, you're not here to chat. You're here to audition.
Right off on a bad foot right there.
Oh, no. So I remember all the blood just rushing out of my I was so scared. So I did a very bad job, but on the way out the door, 1 foot out the door, 1 foot still in, I could see my 8x10 wafting into the wastebasket. Somebody ripped it up. And I said, you have a bar know-it-all. Because growing up in New England, I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Every bar's got a horse's patootie, thinks he knows everything.
And you were originally auditioning for Norm, correct?
I forget which. It was a part of somebody at the bar. I mean, in the beginning, they had more characters than they did, at the second year. But it was just a part. I don't know whether the part was called George or Norm or. But I mean, that all part is all just blank to me. I just remember the fear. So I improvised. I said. And there was a character that I always liked using in Europe. I did the improvised comedy, but there was a bunch of stock characters I'd use. But then they go, the newspaper was originally printed vertically. And so they started laughing to the point where I was just trying to maintain my dignity.
Right.
Yeah. I just say, okay, so guys, good luck with this show. I'm out of here. But 2 days later, I got the call and was there for 11 years cracking jokes.
What ball!
Just to
do a character that wasn't even in the script. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, it really was just like, I need them to know I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And I don't want to stand there and make excuses. I never went to acting school. I've never auditioned before.
It wasn't even getting the job at that point. It was just kind of trying to restore your dignity.
Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah. Because I was doing real well in London. I mean, when I first got there, 10 years prior, I was living in an abandoned building, but after the 10 years, I was doing a nice apartment near Hyde Park and blah, blah, blah.
Were you doing live shows or film?
Yeah, first 6 years did live shows all through Europe. Edinburgh Festival in London, all through England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, Holland, Germany, Italy, France. And then the last 5 years, I started doing movies. I did about 28 movies over there.
What kind of live shows were you doing? Was it comedy based or?
Yeah, there was two of us. Called ourselves Sal's Meat Market. And it wasn't like, a Second City. We just called making stuff up. That's what we called it. We didn't know that there was a word called improvisation.
Nothing fancy, just making stuff up.
But we would do a show that would change 80 to 95% every night. Because we knew the beginning, we knew the middle, we knew the end. But the getting there always changed.
Now, were you taking audience suggestions like improv does, or were you guys just...
No, I mean, we would as a goof from time to time, but no. But the audience knew that the show was going to change, so we had repeat audiences every night. Okay. Because it was a different show, but the same story.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
No, we did it out of desperation. We didn't know what we were doing.
How long ago was this? I've done the Edinburgh Festival myself, 10 times. How long ago did you do Edinburgh?
72, 73. Yeah, that's when 6 people showed up.
I didn't even know the festival was that old, to be honest with you.
I think it started in the 50s. Because again, I remember Billy Connolly was there, and a bunch of people you know now, but maybe 10,000 people showed up, but now it's got to be 500,000.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah.
Wow.
I sold 20,000 tickets last time I was there, so that's myself. So that's like
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah. But still to this day, the average size of an audience at that festival is 5.
Really?
Yeah, because most gigs are just called off because no one shows up. And then you get the really successful shows. But it's not like you go to Montreal or you go to Chicago or you go to Melbourne where they're all invitation shows. Like the comics are invited to go. Anyone can perform at the Edinburgh Festival if you got the balls just to put your fucking show on and pay.
Really?
Oh, really?
So you get a lot of fucking whack jobs up there, I tell you.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy in his jockey shorts on a unicycle juggling machetes.
He's the Prime Minister now.
He's just going like this. And I'm in the crowd watching him. Because I brought my kids over there a few years ago. I said, you got to see this. And then he looks down at me and goes, you started like this, didn't you? Because that's where
right.
I started at the Edinburgh Festival and doing the Fringe.
I gotta tell you, I'm a huge fan of yours, and I truly mean that. I really am.
He's been talking.
I've been talking about it since yesterday.
You kept calling him Jeff Ratzenberger. What are you talking about?
That's my cousin. But he's a tool and die maker.
But me and my brother play a game called What Movie Cliffy's In, and if we see you in a movie, then we have to just talk as you in that movie forever. So there's like that scene where you pick up Candice Bergman in the Jeep in Gandhi to take Candice Bergman to see Gandhi, and who would have thought Cliff would have been in Gandhi, but he was. And for the rest of that film, my brother was going, yes, I'm going to see that thin Indian guy. Who's that guy? Why aren't you eating? You know that eating makes you healthy.
Must be going through chemotherapy. That's why the hair is in. That's a good game. That's internet worthy.
Oh yeah. Star Wars, the 2 Superman films,
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's where we all go off, man.
Yeah. Now, what character were you in Empire? You had that scene
Major Derlin.
Right.
Major Brent. That was actually my first action figure too.
Was it?
They exist.
They're out there.
And that was made while you were in England, I assume, as well, because they also they did that the Earl Street Studios, whatever it is.
L Street.
Yeah.
Up in just in North London. Yeah.
When was that character in the movie? What part of the film?
He was the commander of the Rebel Air Force. I'm the one who told Princess Leia we got to close the doors.
So these rebel scum have to get out of there.
So he just talks like Cliff.
From then on, me and my brother would just be Cliff's just off in space. And we'd follow his adventures that had never happened.
Hilarious.
I have a whole backstory to every small part you've ever done.
Is the bridge too far?
Oh, it's a big bridge here. I'm not going to say that one.
I probably got to go across the river, Major. We got Nazis on the other side there. I don't know where to dodge those bullets. That's funny.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. You were in that one.
I do that to I do that to my nephews and nieces, and they're like, "Oh, he's doing the pig from Toy Story."
Oh, that's the action figure. One of them.
There he is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a pretty manly looking action figure.
I used to look like that.
That's an action. Yeah.
I used to go to church dressed like that.
That's like, holy Jesus.
Gun
Yeah,
and
there it
the
is.
second row of that one. That's what.
Wow, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is
Jesus
the internet
Christ.
something? Look at that.
The internet is
yeah.
something. That's a great face picture.
How easy is that?
The thing is now with the Blu-ray thing, with George Lucas fucking with it, you're all in CGI now, and you're a lizard.
You look pretty badass in that. Gotta tell you. That I wouldn't screw with that guy. Like, he looks tough.
No, you shouldn't.
Tough guy. I like that.
I can show you scars here.
Yeah.
No, I grew up just down the road here in the bucolic seaside village of Bridgeport.
Okay.
Oh, right, yeah.
Anyone's ever been there?
Enchanting.
Bridgeport
Is it?
is
Yeah, it's lovely.
Well, yeah, and you said what? Is your brother really a tool and die maker, or you're a
I grew up. My uncles were, and they were
Bridgeport, obviously the home of the Bridgeport milling machine.
That's exactly
Yes.
right.
I used to do a little machining myself.
Well, I remember my uncles talking about it, and I know you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They talk about tolerances of 1/2000th of an
Oh,
inch.
yeah,
like
yeah.
the fate of Western civilization depended on it.
And it sometimes would, yes. Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I discovered when I got older, that they were exactly right.
yeah.
So that's the program the campaign that I'm involved in now, just getting kids back to working with their hands. The centerforamerica.org. I got to put that in because you can go there, and anybody, any walk of life in the country can go to their schools, their manufacturing, their unions, and say, how do we teach kids these skills? Because we're running out of them. We're literally running out of people who know how to make and build things.
Make things, right. This country doesn't make
That's
things
the thing.
anymore.
America needs immigrants more than anywhere else in the world for things like this. Australians are coming over here in floods because you guys can't build stuff.
No one's making things. Yeah.
Right.
I always I worked for a living for like half my life was spent working, and then the other half is this, which I don't consider work. Right. But it makes me appreciate the hell out of this because I know what it's like to be in an attic when it's 150 degrees in there running ductwork. It stinks. It's not a fun thing to do. But it was always one of those things where if worse came to worse, I'd crawl back in the attic and at least have a roof over my head, literally, and then be able to pay for, food. See, a roof over my head. I made an angle roof. Jimmy is cracking up at me.
You've always got that to fall back onto. It's like Jesus and his carpentry.
Yeah, but he didn't really need
If that God stuff didn't work out, you could always make you a nice table.
Did he invent the table?
Oh, yeah. It's a little known fact at the table.
Oh, God. How did you get from doing live shows to film? Like, not that it's a big jump, but...
the casting director saw one of my shows and said, hey, there's Richard Lester's doing a movie, and so I went in and talked to him, because over there you don't audition for movies, you just talk to the director, you chat, because the casting director's job is to make sure that you know what you're doing before they send you in the room. So they don't actually have you read, they give you a cup of tea. And so I'm sitting talking to Richard Lester or Richard Attenborough, and we're just chatting.
Wow. Yeah, that's what it was. That's a big one.
Richard Attenborough. Yeah.
You ever see the footage of him
The Great Escape, man.
being hoisted up to those
amazing.
Is he the guy that does the nature show too?
Who's that?
No, that's his brother, David Attenborough.
Oh, different guy. Okay.
No, but they're brothers. But David Attenborough is fucking 90 years old, and I'm telling you, that cunt will still poke a crocodile with a stick. I've seen him do it, and he does it so politely as well. Like, that one's really coming to get me. That's
funny.
Well, it's Bad Dogs and Englishmen.
Yeah.
He puts that Steve Irwin to shame, doesn't he?
Well, of course he did. Yeah. Wow, that is funny.
Did you know you worked for Pixar? You've done a lot of stuff at Pixar. Did you know Steve Jobs? Because
I did.
You did. He was. I didn't realize that he was a big part. I mean, I found out like in the last week or so.
He owned the whole thing.
I didn't realize he was a big part of that.
What he
from day
did
one.
with Apple overshadowed that, and that's huge. So just an amazing innovator.
He was on the board of Disney like several times over, or whatever, because of when he sold the company Pixar.
Yeah, nice guy.
Great.
You met him and stuff. Yeah,
He's a great guy. He's the kind of guy who you know, we used to, in his generation, he was growing up, he was a tinkerer. He started in his garage.
Yeah.
And he went on to touch the lives of every single man, woman, and child on the face of the earth. He's the Thomas Edison of our time.
Yeah.
But what we've done in our wisdom with telling all the kids, you got to go to college, and kids don't play outside anymore. They don't discover things. Build a treehouse, fix your bicycle, so that generations.
Right, man. Yeah.
Well, I haven't got time. I'm playing with my iPad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But he was
great point.
We've got a great gentleman, just kind to a fault. But he bought Pixar from George Lucas at the urging of Ed Catmull, and John Lasseter was put in charge, and boom, that's been working with them 17 years now.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And the Toy Story movies, obviously, are just huge, man.
You got
I remember
kids?
the first time. No. But you know what?
I like
I don't
Monsters,
need them.
Inc.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. was amazing.
Yeah.
But it's those movies where you sit down, you watch, and you're amazed and stunned by what they did just to put that on the screen. But that goes away within a few minutes, and then they're real characters. You know, they're no longer just It's amazing how it's just a modernized version of animation, but there's so much depth to it. And the writing's amazing, too.
How good is a movie when it's the third in a trilogy and it's nominated for the Oscar?
Yeah.
And it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just nominated with the rest of them, and Toy Story 3 is one of the best films of the year. Unbelievable.
And the voices are so familiar, and that's kind of really
they're
cool.
famous movie stars.
I know, Jim Jeffries.
It's Tom Hanks, you know.
Yeah. Oh, wow, really? Yeah, that's a great franchise.
That opening of Up, the first 10 minutes. You see that?
Yeah.
That one's
balloons, right?
depressing, though. The old lady dying.
I know, yeah.
I didn't like Up.
But you're in tears, and there's no dialogue at all.
Yeah.
But that's artistry. That's
Amazing.
But they go back to the golden age of Hollywood, where you work on a story, make the story good, and then make your movie. They don't do it. But now a lot of people do it opposite. Oh, we got these actors, and let's see, it's a cowboy set, so let's get some horses. Yeah, put them on. And they'll make movies like that now. Instead of saying, let's work 3 years just on the story. But that's why Pixar's so good at what they do.
When you see shows now, because you were in such a successful show, I mean, do you think the writing has gotten a little soft or different? It has, right? It's there's no more. I think Ted Danson just wanted to drink and fuck chicks, but it was realistic.
Well, it's because the generation of writers that wrote Cheers and Frasier and Wings, they had grown up in a generation where they read books. The generation of writers now have grown up watching television. So you're now getting things in sitcoms that were in sitcoms 20 years ago.
Right.
True.
But when you grow up, the writers that grew up reading books, they understand story, they understand character arc, they know how to craft a story. But now it's just different.
I watched Cheers. It's dated very well. I still watch it now. You can watch an episode of Cheers now. And when Norm comes in and he says his opening line, it's still fucking killer. It's like, I was watching one the other day, and they said, how's life treating you, Mr. Peterson? And he goes, I'm sleeping with its wife and it knows. And you're like, that's a great line in any sitcom ever.
That was, because when you had the caliber of people, the Charles brothers, David Angel, who died in the 9/11 crash, David and his wife Lynn. But these are high caliber writers. They would read real books.
Glenn and Les Charles, right?
Glenn and Les
They did
Charles.
Taxi,
They that's where they met Jimmy Burrows, and then the three of them gave birth to Cheers and a ton of other things.
The Cheers initially didn't do very well in the ratings.
We were dead last in the ratings.
Yeah. But now you see, that show would just be dumped.
Oh, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, they don't give.
I'd be in England being a spaceman or something.
They don't give shows a lot of time to grow. But on the other hand, a lot of the shows you could tell right away they're trying too hard to build a character in one episode.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
that's exactly right, because the networks then, Grant Tinker was the president of NBC, and everybody around him told him to dump the show. We're in the last place.
Wow.
And he said, he was an old school guy, he said, it makes me laugh. Let's keep it on for a little bit longer. So that September, when we had the beginning of our second year, was also the Emmys for the prior year, we won bushel basket of them. So then the audience started watching the show.
Right.
So we were between number 1 and number 5 for the next 10 years. But because of Grant Tinker.
Right.
And Steve Jobs was the same way. He didn't have focus groups. He didn't turn to his marketing people.
Hey, it made me laugh. Or, hey, that's interesting. I like it.
Yep.
More working on a hunch, a human hunch, than
intuition.
some kind of slide rule mentality that's used now. That
Oh, yeah. Like the new crop of sitcoms that just come out this year, and I won't name any, but Whitney.
Stand it.
And like,
What's that? I haven't seen that.
it's not as good as the.
You do that very well.
He really does, man.
But, it's
got a hobby or something.
whole childhood spent on you, man. I'm telling you. Some people had the Beatles.
That's fantastic.
I was abused. But yeah, I find like you can tell when there's, because I've been in pilots as well, when they start going, the focus group doesn't like this character, we're going to take it out. It's always, who wants to be in a focus group? A cocksucker, that's who. Who's got time in the afternoon? No one with intellect. You're speaking to Wendy, whose husband's out, who it's just like, and I go down and I take tablets on the side for income, and now I get to watch this show and say what I think of that, and people just pay me, and this mop's good, right? And this is the fucking woman who's deciding my TV viewing.
Yeah.
Well, but also there's a lot of jobs at stake, a couple of hundred jobs.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of that in Vegas. They do a focus group, and now why Vegas?
Wow, that doesn't
this
seem
is
like
not your average audience.
your peers.
No one's desperate in Vegas.
Probably to get a
for
cross
money.
section of the country.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's why, because they get everybody from everywhere in the country goes to Vegas.
Everybody who wants to gamble.
Yeah.
So you're getting a cross section of the same people.
You're getting a cross section of all the douchebags from all across the country.
But it takes away the intuition that the people in the networks have. Like, MASH would have been canceled because it was tanking, but the head of the network's wife liked it. And she would talk to him in bed about how great this show was, so he kept it on because his wife was telling him what a great show it was.
Seinfeld was another one that initially...
3 big shows.
They
like it.
moved
Yeah.
time slots like 3 times for Seinfeld, didn't they?
And that was an utter failure, Seinfeld.
No, it did well.
Oh, did it, little Jim?
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
3 biggest shows. I can't think of any bigger sitcoms. I mean, maybe Ray is in that category, too. Everybody loves Raymond. But they all would have been canceled by today's standards. All 3 of them would have been fucking axed within 6 months.
That's the whole thing. Like Ray Romano, he was fired from News Radio and then replaced with Joe Rogan. Like
Same with UFC.
Yeah. But Ray Romano was told he wasn't a good enough actor and he was fired. And then Letterman gets behind him, gives him Everyone Loves Raymond. And then the next year, he bloody wins the Emmy for Best Comical Actor.
Yeah.
And so, things turn around, hopefully.
You did that show where you kind of went around the country and...
Yeah, Made in America. I was, we were the beginnings of all those shows.
Right.
Because we let people know that, hey, there's a whole other world out here where people really work for a living.
Yeah, let's
And
take
it's
a camera
interesting.
out and talk to
You went to the
Joe.
Stern Pinball Factory.
Yes.
Yeah. I watched that.
Jim's like,
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, because these are the people that are essential to our society. They make stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do. That's what brought us to the dance. Make stuff, build stuff. So that's why. Well, even this week, AOL. If you go to AOL, I'm hosting a program there about jobs, skilled jobs, and with the CenterForAmerica.org. What I'm trying to do is bring dignity and respect back to exactly those people. And it was through Made in America I noticed that the average age is 56 years old. So 6 to 10 years, they're gone. They're done.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to have any bridges. When you turn on that water tap, there's not gonna be water.
Nothing comes out. You brought up an interesting point earlier, and we talked about this. I've noticed it. Yeah, I'm sure you've got to go. I hate that.
I don't have to go.
These people.
We're not saying it, but your guys are saying it. Other press.
Yeah.
Do I? Yeah. I'd rather
But the whole thing, when I was growing up...
They won't love you as much as we do.
I know.
That's exactly
Damn it. When I was growing up, I remember, like, if your bike chain broke, you fixed it. You got a flat tire.
Yep.
You roughed up that tube and got the glue out. You built go-karts, tree forts. You really don't see that happening anymore.
No,
and
you just buy another bike now. You throw it away, buy it on the Kmart or whatever.
And that is the beginning of what makes somebody, gives them that mind for mechanics and stuff.
West Point,
tinkering.
they say the best officers in West Point come off of farms.
Yeah.
Because to be a farmer, you got to do that. You
Improvise. You got to fix things with baling wire.
And you got to do shit you don't like to do, which is get up in the morning and work and things that you just are very unpopular, but you make yourself
focus.
do.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's why I think it's, to denigrate people who are successful. I know tons of people who are multimillionaires that started off with nothing.
Yeah.
Just nothing. But they had a dream, and now we got, people that want to punish people for that.
I know, and that's I say that all the time. It's the American dream. And when you achieve it, when you achieve what this country is supposed to be based on, and what it gives people the opportunity to get, once you get there, you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard you worked for it, and then there's a bunch of people, especially now, that are looking to take and say like, well, I don't have what you have, so now you're obligated to give it to me.
That's the entitlement mentality.
It's
it
disgusting.
never used to be like that.
No, people understood. There's going to be people that are better off, people that are worse off. Sometimes luck comes into play. Sometimes there's a lot of things that happen in this country. The opportunity's there, and if you make something of yourself and achieve the wealth and happiness, it doesn't necessarily mean that this guy is going to get the same thing.
Yeah, it's only the pursuit of happiness.
That's
right.
And that's what I've been saying during these Wall Street protests. No, I'm kidding. I'm not protesting.
But I've never really seen where you lie politically. You don't usually make a big thing about it publicly.
The Democrats and Republicans both have ignored this message. I'm saying, look, you want to grow corn, you got to plant seed, you got to till the soil, but they want to do pixie dust. So, okay, let's create jobs, and that's all they say is create jobs, and here's a ton of money, and then they go home. It's like, Obama and John Boehner being in the front seat of a car that they just built with no engine. But they're making the engine noises with their lips. That's what we're doing in this country today.
Yeah.
There's no engine. Because we're not training kids. We're not getting them interested in crafting things, building, innovating. And that's what Thomas Edison, he was a tinker as a child.
Oh, yeah.
How much of that is lost, though, because of computer technology, too? Like, how much of that is because we don't have to use our hands in daily life nearly as much to get
Somebody does.
a lot?
Because that electricity that comes into your computer comes from a dam with turbines. Someone's got to build the turbine, maintain the turbine, and we're running out of those people, too. But that's parenting. That's parents saying, well, at least they're safe. I know where they are. Well, yeah, but have they ever climbed a tree?
Yeah.
Part of our job as children was to break a limb. Our own, not the trees.
But it is true, yeah.
You get hurt.
I don't know how many times I was precariously perched on a branch trying to nail a 2x4 into a tree to build a tree for it.
And usually you use nails that were too small.
Nails that were too small. Yeah, tree boards. And then you'd actually go and pilfer from some construction site.
You go.
And the hardest part was building that initial frame to lay the plywood on. But once that was done, that was gravy, just where you want to put your walls and that. But it gave you the ability to be able to build things. You learn how to use a handsaw and a hammer and nails and
You know what a rip saw was, a crosscut saw? You knew the difference.
Yeah, and you got yelled at for using them. Your dad would yell at you.
Do they still teach that in schools in America? They don't have wood shop anymore?
25 years now,
The computer classes.
They still do in Australia. They still have wood shop and stuff in Australia.
Well, that's why we're all going to have to go to Australia for infrastructure.
Yeah.
Water systems that work.
Yeah, we got to wrap.
We have to wrap. They give us an extra few minutes. I want to plug what John is here to plug, though.
Yes.
He's promoting the Center for America's 10 by 20 pledge campaign, 10 million jobs by 2020. And it's very simple. You can go to centerforamerica.org, and or you can go to www, as you know, Ratzenberger.com, Ratzenberger. And but centerforamerica.org is very easy to remember if you're out driving. And it's
a great idea, and it's something that, like you said, people are talking about jobs and where are they going to come from, but aren't doing anything about it. And it is
because they've never worked. By the way,
right? Yeah,
everybody in Washington, they've never had a job.
Oh God, yes. God, this guy's smart.
Yeah,
I'm just.
Sounds like a Bob Nolan to me.
Well, you remember Tip O'Neill.
They should remake that show. Just bring them all.
I always
right?
suggest that.
John,
Thank you.
so
done,
much,
right?
man. Yeah, we got
done
to
for
take
today.
off.
Oh, now they're coming in the door to get us.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
Thanks so much, and you got to plug real quick?
I'll just be at the Stress Factory in Jersey all this weekend, and then next month I'm going to be at Caroline's on Broadway.
Very cool, man. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you, I guess, Monday.
Yeah, call us. 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. Smartphone users, send your feedback to feedback@opieandanthony.com.